Hello there, folks. Good evening and welcome to Room Tours with Freddie Chavez. Here we are chilling in my room and we're going to be discussing a historical topic specifically on art, the foundation, formation, and the historical aspect that this institution had in France. Specifically speaking of the Académie Royale de Peinture et de Sculpture, if I said it right, otherwise known as the Royal Academy of Painting and Sculpture, that was established in France in 1648. In today's tour, we will be covering a wide range of topics to help you, the viewer, understand the significance of this institution, to include its formation and foundation, its artistic lessons, what it meant to be an artist at this institution, and how it helped shape the history of France, amongst many other topics. The first art to ever emerge from the region we know today as France can be traced back to a system of caves known as Les Sous, in which the first cave drawings are said to predate over 17,300 years ago. Cave drawings depicting large animals corresponding with species that existed during the Paleolithic age, making them some of the earliest known artworks in human history. Now, back to the point. During the 17th century, art was tightly controlled and regulated, often praising artists based on favoritism rather than skill, and was controlled by the ancient system known as guilds, which can be seen as an association of people who set the rules and controlled all aspects of what type of art would be deemed worthy and produced. This ancient system of guilds and controlling art was extremely limiting to artists, both already known and also those that weren't quite well known either. So a young and famous painter by the name of Charles Lebrun decided to come in and change all of this. Lebrun saw many issues with the guild system as it controlled and limited the artistic expression of artists. Charles found inspiration in other well-established academies in Europe, such as in Florence and Rome, and he thought to himself, why doesn't France have his own academy? One that approves artists based on merit and one that actually teaches them the skill that is needed for them to be great artists. At this point, Charles decided to do something about it, and he sought support from prominent figures at the time, such as his good friends and famous painters Louis and Henri Testaing. They drafted a petition to establish the academy with many royal signatures signing on in order to support. The petition was presented to King Louis XIV and his mother, Queen of Austria, on January 20th, 1648, and it was there soon approved, thus forming the Académie Royale of Painting and Sculpture. One reason why they decided to approve the formation of the Academy was to establish a decidedly French artistic tradition and the need for a large number of well-trained artists to fulfill important commissions for the royal circle. The foundation of the Academy appeals to the proposition that art appeals to reason and mind and not the eye. The Academy worked out a curriculum in their lectures and a set of rules that students were expected to follow. It was structured around a system of hierarchy, and the more noble genres students painted, the higher their status in the Academy. The 5 categories listed from great to least great was history painting, portraiture, genre painting, landscapes, and still life paintings. The instruction for students was focused on drawing. They learned to draw by copying other drawings, engravings, and moving on to drawing plaster casts in an effort to familiarize themselves with 3-dimensional forms and turning them into 2-dimensional forms. Once they learned all this, the highest honor in the Academy was to draw a live nude model, which the Academy saw as a requisite for becoming a great painter. Teaching students the classical tradition was important in the Academy's curriculum. In 1674, the Academy established the Rome Prize, which can be seen as a scholarship funded by the king and was awarded to the best students to be sent abroad to study in Rome for 3 to 5 years. In 1667, the Academy established exhibitions, otherwise known as salons. The salons played an important role in allowing the artists to advertise their artwork, showcasing skill and allowing them to potentially have opportunities for commissions for potential patrons. Most, if not all of the artwork showcased in the salons was male-dominated, as the Academy didn't accept any women. During its 150-year history, the Academy only welcomed 4 women as full members. And these women include Marie-Thérèse Rebaud, Anne Vaillère-Coster, Adelaide Labille Gouillard, and Elizabeth Vigée Lebrun. Now that you've gotten a brief history on the Royal Academy of Painting and Sculpture, let's go ahead and detail a little bit more into a specific artist, Jean Baptiste Martin, and his painting, The Meeting at the Royal Academy of Painting and Sculpture at the Louvre. Jean-Baptiste Martin was born in Paris in 1659 and was a French painter. He started a meeting of the Royal Academy of Painting and Sculpture at the Louvre in 1712 and finished it in 1721. This oil-on-canvas work of art is housed at the Louvre, Paris, in France. Alrighty folks, so let's go ahead and analyze this painting. So pretty much what we're witnessing is a group of men sitting at the Louvre, kind of sitting down and discussing important business matters, maybe perhaps listening to this guy right here. But one thing that's worth noting is the emphasis that's put on the gentleman sitting in here, as we can see that it takes up half of the canvas, right? But another emphasis that Martin puts on this canvas is also on the canvases hanging off the walls, right? Because we can see that it takes up the other half. So pretty much he wants us to focus in on the men here and the men up, or the paintings up here. Now, when we look at these men, we notice that they have very aristocratic type of clothing, right? The big coats, that seems to be the ties, these stockings. And now artists wouldn't be wearing this at the academy just because the paint would ruin it. And this kind of clothing seems pretty expensive, especially for the 18th century. And we also can tell that they're not artists just because none of them are creating any artwork. None of them have any paintbrushes. They're kind of just chilling. They're wearing these what we would call these like founding father wigs, you know. So you know, these are probably the people that ran the institution, which is why such an emphasis is put on it. But because the academy was such a well-established institution, the artists also put the emphasis on the paintings on the wall, and we can see the scale. They're just grand, they're big, they're like twice the size of a human being. But what's interesting too about these canvases is the genres that are depicted. So we see here something important to the academy is the landscape painting, right? Or also too, like the self-portraiture right here, at least for me, you know, a head, the body. And also too, something important to the academy was the nude, right? Being able to paint perfectly nude people. We got the nude statue right here, nude statue. So this canvas pretty much just encompasses, you know, a lot of the things that were critical or requisite of the academy. We also see here too, from previous centuries, Roman architecture inspired arts, right? The archways. So there's so much going on in this painting, so much messaging that the artist wants us to focus on, especially with the implied lines, right? Like, for example, this dude's kind of looking up at here, so they want us to look at that. This guy looking up here, he wants us to look at that. This dude pointing over here, this guy's probably ran the institution at the time, right? This guy's got like the floor, he's speaking, this guy's prominent. So I don't know, there's just so much going on in this painting that you can just analyze it for days. Alrighty folks, so there you have it. I hope you guys learned something about the Royal Painting of the Royal Academy of Painting and Sculpture. And if you guys are interested in finding out more information on where I got my info, the works cited can be found on this next slide. Peace.